Greetings, Legionnaires, and welcome to the Smackdown review with me, Nick the Geek, here on Wrestling Legion. Right, sorry it's late this week. Very busy day. Opens up this week with a promo from Sami and Kevin Owens, basically saying that they're tag team champions, they're going to remain tag team champions, but they know the Usos are coming for a rematch, and then just like magic, the Usos come out. They interrupt, a fight breaks out, Riddle comes down to even the odds because Solo is there making up the numbers for the Usos. Big brawl ensues. Everyone gets sent back to stage. We move on. We then have a Backlash promo. Should be a good show. Still don't know the card yet. I'm assuming the main event will be Sami, KO, and Riddle versus the Usos and Solo Sikoa, because as far as I know, Roman is not going to be on Backlash. Next, we go to Adam Pearce backstage, basically saying that if Solo and Riddle want to beat the snot out of each other, they can do it in the main event tonight. Let's make it official. So the main event is set. Solo Sikoa versus Matt Riddle. Very excited for that one. We then go to, check the notes, a Xavier Woods and LA Knight promo, basically covering all the history of LA Knight snapping his PlayStation controller, saying, yeah, LA Knight's game. But the whole feud felt a bit hollow for me due to the fact that LA Knight is my boy and deserves a hell of a lot better. He's in his 40s. I don't understand why they're basically just having him lose constantly. He never gets a win. This really annoys me. It's good for Xavier Woods because Xavier Woods hardly ever gets wins. But they need to push LA Knight. He's far too good. He's far too over, and I feel like they're wasting him. After this, we went to match number 1, which was LA Knight versus Xavier Woods. This was a fine, methodical, decent pace match. Xavier Woods got a lot of offense in early. Then LA Knight took over before the break. When they came back from the break, LA Knight was still in control. A lot of people, I can imagine, wouldn't like this match because it was slightly paced for the most of it, but it was a methodical build that built up to Xavier Woods' hope spots, that built to a great shot where he did a springboard stomp when LA Knight was over the middle rope, I think, or the top rope, landed on his back, followed by a leg drop for a near fall. LA Knight goes for the pin, but he grabs the tights. The referee sees it. Then Xavier Woods does the exact same thing, grabs the tights, gets the win. Not good for LA Knight, good for Xavier Woods. Yet again, he won with a variation of the backwards, you could say, the most devastating move in all of professional wrestling. But I feel like they're wasting, like really, really wasting just they're doing Knight dirty. Let's just go with my brother there. Depsy, they're like dirty. Not a good thing. After this, we went to an Imperium segment backstage. Imperium are all talking German, obviously. They're German. Why wouldn't they be talking in German? And Xavier Woods is roasted his trombone. Ludwig Kaiser gets rather annoyed and lunges forward, tells him, "Look, I just see we're working here." And Xavier Woods goes, sorry. Backs off, then carries on playing the trombone anyway. Kaiser goes to lunge at him, Gunther stops him. Gunther basically invites Xavier Woods onto the sacred mat so he can beat respect into it. This is next week. I don't know if it's a title match. I don't think it's a title match, which means there is a slim chance that Xavier Woods could sneak out a backwards victory and make himself number 1 contender. But I have a feeling LA Knight will probably help Gunther, or at least have some inkling in costing Xavier Woods the match. Not that Gunther needs any help. He's just going to chop the snot out of him until he can't get up anymore. After this, we went to, back to the notes, a Raw flashback all about Solo injury Riddle, basically covering why Riddle is now involved in the Bloodline Sami Zayn feud. Because I remember why he was there. Solo took him out a few months ago with the chair on the head in the corner of the ring. But for a lot of people, I imagine Matt Riddle feels a bit out of place in this because Sami and Kevin have so ingratiated with the storyline up to this point, and Riddle's kind of just been slotted into it at the end because he's back. But I like it. I think him versus Solo is a good pairing. I think Matt Riddle will teach Solo Sikoa a lot in the ring, and I'm happy to see them have a match. After this, we went to a Riddle, Sami, and KO promo backstage, where basically Sami is apologizing for everything that happened because he was in the Bloodline when he got injured. And Riddle's like, "I know you were, bro, but don't worry about it." Then he's like, but you need to be careful tonight. You need to be really careful because you don't know what Dakota's like, man. You don't know what they're like. You need to be careful. And then Kevin's like, what the hell are you talking about? He needs to be careful. Starts slapping Riddle on the chest. You need to go out there. You need to give it your all. You need to beat the snot out of him. You need to, and so on and so forth. And Riddle then hypes himself up, slaps KO on the chest and says, bro, at the end. Like he always does. Good promo segment. Did what it needed to do. Nothing special, but it is what it is. We then had Judgment Day promo. Judgment Day promo where basically Damian Priest didn't say anything. They introduced the three of them. I believe Interview Robot 1 said that Rhea was embarrassed by Selena Vega the other week, and Selena got rather annoyed. Kayla Braxton, sorry, not Interview Robot 1. Kayla's actually very good. Kayla Braxton was asked Rhea what it was like getting embarrassed by Selena Vega. Rhea did not take kindly to this. Dom said, don't make mommy angry. Then Damian Priest said, look, I know you're going to ask about Bad Bunny. We'll talk about that in the ring. So they go out, they make their entrance. He goes to the ring, and he basically says, look, Bad Bunny, my friend, if you want to come to Backlash and you want to sit ringside, you want to host the show, you want to watch the whole thing, that's fine. But if you get involved in my family business again, if you put my hands on my family again, this will happen. And then he showed about 4 replays that all got slower on the slow motion scale, which was quite funny as they went on of him putting Bad Bunny through the table the other week. This then led to Selena Vega coming out on her own and the entranceway and interfering. Rhea Ripley got out of the ring, started chasing forward, and then so did Dom. And then the former Legado del Fantasma, the now LWO, Latino World Order, attacked from behind because obviously this was the start of the match between Escobar and Priest. This match was exceptional. Santos Escobar, I have been a huge fan of since he was King Cuerno in Lucha Underground. He's a phenomenal talent, and Damian Priest, even in his 40s, is still an amazing big man. He's one of the best big men around. He has the potential to replace The Undertaker in that company, but I feel because of his age, he'll never get that push. But this was a 4-star match for me. Escobar was fantastic. Lots of dives, lots of hurricanranas, lots of classic lucha libre, lots of real hard hitting stuff. And Priest was just power move to power move to power move, plus using his agility, running off the steps, hitting a double axe handle, so on and so forth. This was a great match, 4-star match for me. Really enjoyed it. If you're going to watch any match from this week's SmackDown, make sure it's Santos Escobar versus Damian Priest. It is chef's kiss, just super. After this, we went to a Bloodline promo where basically Paul Heyman is hyping up Solo Sikoa, saying if he loses tonight, that embarrasses Alpha, it embarrasses Sika, it embarrasses Rikishi, and he just goes through the entire Anoa'i bloodline. And just endless. There's so many of them. It's insane. But he goes through the entire Anoa'i bloodline. It's a real passionate promo. And then Solo just stops him and says, you tell the tribal chief, I got this. And it was really well delivered. And Solo doesn't talk a lot. So when he does, it means more. Less is more, people. And it was just very, very good promo. As per usual, got me excited for the main event. After this, what did we have? We had a flashback to Trish turning on Becky. We all know why she's done it. Trish made it quite public that she wanted to wrestle Becky Lynch when she came back to WWE. Now she's going to wrestle Becky Lynch. All happy. We'll find out why she did it on Raw. Then we had an unfortunately semi-pointless segment in the show. The new women's tag team champions, the most inconsequential belts in WWE, were paraded out into the ring with Raquel and Liv Morgan, who are the new tag team champions. Congratulations to them. I jest. It's all well and good when anyone wins a championship. I just feel those championships are presented poorly and mean less than nothing at this current point because they've been passed around like hot candy. They were talking, said how happy they are to be champions, and had this weird shtick about how she's really happy Liv's crazy because she lets her throw her around like a weapon. And Liv's like, you can chuck me around anytime. It's very odd. Then they're interrupted by Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. And I really like the pairing of Chelsea and Sonya because they're both a pair of Karens. And they work well together. Man, I enjoy Chelsea Green's work. I enjoy Sonya Deville's work. I think she's exceptional on the microphone, and I think Chelsea is very entertaining. They came out, they interrupted. They did a whole Karen shtick of where it's just like, why haven't we had a title shot? Why are you even champions? you didn't even beat the actual champions. You beat a champion and a replacement. How does that actually count? Oh, yeah, that P-Brain, Adam Pearce, middle management is useless, blah, 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 blah. They go to attack Raquel and Liv. Raquel and Liv beat him down. Raquel and Liv stand tall. End is done. Now we have Raquel and Liv Morgan versus Chelsea and Sonya next week. The whole segment was kind of pointless. They could have done this another way, a better way. The promos weren't good from Liv and Raquel at all. Sonya and Chelsea's were fine. But Liv and Raquel, those girls can't talk. Not yet. They're getting there. But they just don't have it on the mic yet. And it could have been better, shall we say. But it is what it is. And now we have Raquel and Liv defending their titles against Chelsea and Sonya next week. At least I'm pretty sure it's a title match. After this, we had the return, finally, the return of Shinsuke Nakamura. And they gave him 1 minute and 48 seconds on TV, not including his entrance. 1 minute 48 seconds to squash Angry Hat himself, Madcap Moss, who, by the looks of it, might be turning heel from the end of this match, as Emma sent him in to attack Shinsuke after he'd beaten him, and then Shinsuke beat him down again. So, Nakamura's back. Nakamura won, but unfortunately, it was less than a 2 minute match. So, can't really say much about it. It was just slingshot German off the ropes, a couple of kick combos, drop kick to the head, Kinshasa, 1, 2, 3. Done. Madcap got like a few punches in the corner with a fast start at the beginning, and that was all of his offense. Can't really rate this match at all because it was less than 2 minutes. And when something is less than 2 minutes, it doesn't really deserve a rating, in my opinion. But we will carry on. After this, we went... so just to put bloodline on that, that was squash match for Shinsuke on Smackdown. Madcap is doomed. Angry Hat is dead. Like, there ain't no coming back from being squashed in 2 minutes when you're supposed to be a legitimate threat. Why is it everybody that wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal just ends up getting squashed? Everybody. It's ridiculous. After this, we went backstage, and the Viking Raiders attacked Ricochet and Braun Strowman. Shoved Braun through a load of metal staging and powerbombed with the Ragnarok, put Ricochet through a table. I thought this was effective. It sets up the match between Ricochet, Strowman, and the Viking Raiders next week. I like this pairing of Ricochet and Strowman. I think they work exceptionally well together. It's the perfect melding of the modern-day idea of the Porsche and the tank variant of a tag team. Ricochet is phenomenal. He's probably the best flyer in the world. Strowman is a great big man. Both super over, and the Viking Raiders need big and little guys to wrestle. So what's better than putting them against a team with a big guy and a little guy? Really enjoyed the segment. I thought it was well done. After this, we had an announcement that the Usos, and well, it wasn't really then. So, main event, Matt Riddle versus Solo Sikoa. Matt Riddle makes his entrance with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Solo Sikoa makes his entrance with Paul Heyman and the Usos. And then as soon as it starts, Paul Heyman announces that in 2 weeks, live on SmackDown, we will have the WrestleMania Night 1 main event rematch between the Usos, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships once again. I am excited for this. It was one of the best matches at WrestleMania weekend. Just such an enjoyable match to be there live, to watch it first time. I'll be really glad to watch a recorded, televised version this time, just to see if there's anything I missed in little nuances. Excited to hear the match. But then that moves on. We go to our main event. Okay, so I noticed something about Riddle in this match. I don't know who said to him. I don't know if this is because Endeavor have bought WWE and they also own UFC, but Matt Riddle had changed his gear to UFC like style trunks. And he was wrestling a lot more like, for lack of a better term, indie Riddle tonight than he was last time he was here. A lot more MMA submission attempts, rear naked chokes, Kimuras, lots of striking. Lots of striking. I like this version of Riddle more. It's the Riddle I have watched on the indie circuit for years. He's a phenomenal talent with phenomenal ability. Solo Sikoa is green as a gourd, but he has a lot of potential. And Solo Sikoa has the image and the look and the presence down. He's just not that good in the ring yet. But he's getting there. He is getting there. This match was fairly good. A lot of back and forth at the beginning, a lot of Riddle going for a Kimura lock, then Riddle went for a rear naked choker, as my brother likes to call it, the Dolph Ziggler defense, which he did repeatedly, just wearing Solo down. Then there was a couple of knees, quite a few kicks. Solo reversed, hit a Samoan drop where Riddle landed on his face. That was quite brutal. I thought it was unnecessary. Riddle recovers, goes to the floating bro, hits it while Solo is stood up, so it was more like Jeff Hardy's Whisper in the Wind. Just a really good flowy match. Then the Usos get involved. Jay trips Riddle. Sammy and Kevin are like, what are you doing? Go around, start beating him up. The referee's like, no, you will not interfere in this match because I'm a referee with power. Or at least that's how he came across at the time. And then just send them all to the back, which I thought was a really good decision. It makes perfect sense. It means the match is now going to be one-on-one, and we don't have any unnecessary shenanigans, or at least that's what you're supposed to think. Because later on in the match, after it's going back and forth and Matt Riddle has the advantage, the Usos just come out of the crowd because they can. And then seconds later, Kevin and Sammy come out of the entranceway going, what are you doing? As if we weren't going to come back out here. And a brawl ensues between them anyway. Matt Riddle decides to save his bros as opposed to go for the win. Hits the floating bro springboard from the ropes to the outside. And then he gets hit with a Samoan spike and it's over. What else can you say? Unfortunately, Matt Riddle is still not the smartest wrestler in the world. But he is the nicest wrestler because he chose his friends over victory. And that was Smackdown. So, good show. Nothing to complain about. Women's tag team segment was a bit, but other than that, I thought it was a solid show. Escobar versus Priest is definitely the standout match. All the promo segments were great. Good setup, reasonable setups for next week's matches and for matches in a couple of weeks around with Backlash being here in a few. Happy days. Can't complain. I will give this SmackDown a 4 out of 5. Yeah, 4 out of 5 for this week's SmackDown. Really good show. Right, ladies and gentlemen, Legionnaires, if you enjoy what we do here at the Wrestling Legion, please join the Legion. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Leave a comment down below. If you can't stand what I'm saying, if you disagree with me, if you agree with me, let me know. Put them in the comments below. I will reply to as many as I possibly can. In the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in. I've been Nick the Geek. I love you all. See you next week.